Hey everybody, how are you? This is Tracy from Realm of Possibility, and I'm just going to do a follow-up video from our New Year's Eve investigation from Marietta Falls. So, here it goes. As you may have noticed in our video, there were a few really interesting things that we captured, and one of them was this amazing light source in the sky. And this happened while Mason was doing his Estes session. Interesting thing was, the topic that we were discussing in the Estes session was very relevant to what we saw in the sky. You can put the pieces together. And the fact that whatever this was, we got on film just. Lou really excelled herself there, managing to get everything off the tripod just to be able to film it. Because we had the tripod set up because it was actually quite windy. And if we hadn't seen it with our own eyes, not just through the camera, we'd never have believed it. This, whatever it was in the sky, this anomaly was right there, and then it just disappeared. It just disappeared. And, you know, there was a few other things like disembodied voices and stuff that I actually heard with my own ear. Now, getting back to the actual topic at hand, looking back now at all these things that we sort of experienced there on the night, I think was the catalyst, and it led up to my experience as we were walking out the first falls back to the car park. I'm just watching my kitty cat. He's decided to go out and walk around the yard, but today it's really, really hot. It's like I'm expecting him to tap on the door any second to come back in. So if there's a cut in this video, you'll know why. So when we got to Marietta Falls, we actually parked in a side street out the front of the conservation park, because after 9 p.m. in daylight saving hours, the car park, the gates are locked. You cannot drive in there at night. So we would have been stuck in there with no way of getting out till morning, which isn't a bad thing, but we were not prepared for that anyway. And plus, I don't think legality-wise you can do that. So the decision was made that we would hike in from the main entrance to the car park, which is around about maybe 2.5, 3 k's. I'm not 100% certain on that, but it's a good couple of kilometre walk. And we were early evening, so it was still reasonably hot. So we did a few stops along the way, as you do. You know, because we're backpacking our gear, our water. I had first aid kit and snake kit and everything in my backpack just in case, because you never know. So hiking in with stuff as well, when you haven't been doing it for a while, hiking that is. I needed a few stops because of my fibro and my hip and my ankle issues and stuff that I've now developed recently. That's a whole nother story. So by the time we got to the car park, we were leading towards dusk. We still had some daylight, but we decided that was our base. So we did our intro there, and also, you know, had a good sit down, hydrated ourselves, and then we did our walk to the first falls, which is less than 600 metres from the car park. So we headed off to the first falls, and it was really interesting because on the way in there, at one point, now as you go further into the first falls, it's just ravines of cliff faces, rock formations and trees, and there are designated tracks throughout the park. But for anybody to try and walk up these ravines and stuff and not be on the tracks would be just stupid. So let me just get that perfectly clear. So after we're walking in towards the first falls, I actually said to Mason, I said, I feel like we're being watched. And he said to me, human or non-human? And I said, not human. Looking back on that now, I was like, was I already in tune and already sensing whoever or whatever this was? It had already let me know it was there. So anyway, we got to the first falls just on dusk, did our investigation, which was just mind-blowing. And then, you know, we decided to head out. I think we left there about maybe 10:30. So we were there for a good 2-3 hours, which was amazing. So the first falls is actually the bottom of the actual Morialta Falls itself. So I think you've got the first, second and third falls. So obviously the higher elevation, you know, the falls progressively go down to where we were, which is the first falls. And there's been a number of deaths at the falls over the years, dating back in the 1900s. A lot of men, a lot of young men, young boy. Even recently in the last couple of years there's been deaths within the park, but I don't know they were associated with actually being found in the falls. I think they were people who have maybe had slipped off the tracks and, you know, had an episode and unfortunately lost their lives that way, which is really, really sad as well. So our hike out. So it's cooled down significantly now. It's absolutely beautiful. It's nighttime and we're on an absolute high because what we've experienced has just been amazing. Okay, so we're on the hike out. As I mentioned earlier, it's cooled down. It's beautiful. It is just the nighttime vibe in there. Just amazing. Speaking for myself, felt so connected to that place. It's a really spiritual place. It's a beautiful place. It's also a place that's got secrets. I'm sure if Lou and Mace were sitting with me right now, they would agree with that aspect of Morialta, 100%. Hopefully, though, you'll get to hear their perspectives on it, which I think is really important. So we start the hike out, and the one thing I want to mention too, on the way into the first falls and on the way out, the amount of wildlife that came down to greet us blew my mind. We had everything from little rabbits to kangaroos to koalas to the tawny frogmouth that just landed right in front of us. I'll get to the tawny frogmouth. That within itself was just a privilege to experience. There was no fear with the animals. They were so comfortable with us. And we were reminded that we were on their turf, which is fine. So we're heading out and we're having these wonderful experiences on the way out with nature and beautiful orb spiders and you name it. Just unbelievable. So we're busy talking, taking photos, doing a few little short videos here and there, ghost tube sessions, and still getting amazing responses. And we're just like, wow, just wow. And, you know, we're talking about, oh my God, you know, wish you could camp here and imagine being able to camp overnight and do a whole night investigation and blah, blah, blah. We will be coming back at night and we won't be camping there, but we will be doing probably a whole night stay over at some point. And hiking up maybe to the second falls this time. I don't know. We'll see how we go. That won't happen until the weather's a lot cooler too, because even though, you know, it cooled down a lot for us, the hike in, not going to lie, it was a little bit brutal. just a tad. But it was so worth it. So we're heading back towards the car park. And this beautiful tawny frogmouth flies down and lands on a branch above us. And we were just like, whoa. I got some beautiful photos, absolutely gorgeous photos. We all did, and we were just in awe. And this bird made contact with us. Don't mind me, I've got my latte. Oh, beautiful. This bird is interacting with us and acknowledging us, and amazing. And we're all talking, and we're talking to the bird and, you know, saying, oh my God, you're so beautiful, yada, 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 you know, amazing. And for a split second, the tawny frogmouth's attention, which was intently on us, diverts a head further down the track. And it's almost like we all knew it had sent something. And I think Mace just said, did you see that? And did you hear? And we heard something as well. He said, did you hear that? And I went, yep. I said, could be a kangaroo, could be anything. However, I think also deep down, I kind of knew there was something more. So we said goodbye to our little tawny frogmouth friend, and away we went, heading back to the car park, elated, on a high, not wanting really the night to end. And then we were probably maybe 200, not even 200 metres from the car park, and that's when I saw whoever or whatever this was. Okay, so Mason's walking a little ahead, Lou's a little ahead of me, and I'm just behind them. And I've got our headlamps on. So I just kind of stopped to look above me, you know, look at the tree lines and the ravines and the rock faces and everything. And there are tracks right up the very top of this ravine that we're in, which is a part of the, you know, the Morialta Trail. So anyway, I'm looking up there with my headlamp and sort of like in awe, like, my God, this place is even more amazing at night. I'm just thinking to myself, amazing, beautiful, spectacular. And then I see this glow. Bear with, my kitty cat is wanting to come inside. Be right back. Sorry about that. Oh, really? So I stop and I'm looking up. Now, bear in mind, this is a reasonable distance. The night is really, really clear. So you can see the silhouettes of the tree lines and you can make out formations in the dark. It wasn't like pitch dark when you looked up at the ravine and stuff, because you had the moon and everything was just highlighting stuff. So I've kind of looked and thought, oh, it looks like maybe they're reflectors, because there's two, okay, two. Hello, my boy. He's laying on the slate floor now because he's hot. So I've stopped and I'm just looking at this thinking, what the hell is that? Because from what I can see, it doesn't look like it's on any marked out trail. So I'm thinking, why would there be reflectors just randomly placed on this steep tree-lined ravine? So I've looked again, and this time when I looked again, these two round yellow glowing what I thought were reflectors blinked. And I'm still not quite processing. I'm thinking, what the hell am I looking at? And straight away, the practical side of me is looking at the height of the trees in correlation to these two large glowing eyes. And I'm thinking to myself, I've lived in the country, I've lived on a farm. It's not a kangaroo, it's not an emu. It sure as hell isn't a fox. It's not this, or this. What the hell is it? Maybe it's a person up there hiking. Maybe it's someone riding their bike. And I'm running all this stuff through my head, and I'm looking at it and it is looking at me, and it blinks again. And I'm like, whoa. And the second thing I'm starting to think of is, whatever this is, it's big and it's tall. And I call Lou. Lou comes over and I'm like, what the hell is that? I didn't say what the hell is that. I did drop a few F-bombs in that, but I won't do that in this video. And she's looking at it, and at first she's thinking, oh, you know, is it some sort of smaller animal? Is it, you know, is it a person? And she yells out, hello. And I'm kind of looking at her at this point thinking, don't know that I would have done that. And the thing is, wasn't afraid. I knew what I was looking at it wasn't normal. It wasn't something I was expecting in my lifetime to see or experience. So Lou calls out and she says, hello? And she's got her headlamp on too. Now, mind you can't see an outline, a silhouette or anything, because from what I can gather, and when we saw it move, we realised whatever this thing was, it's looking around at us behind a tree. And the moment Lou said hello, it went like this. And at next minute, it slunk along and it popped up a couple of trees ahead of us and saw the eyes again blinking. And I'm thinking, what the hell is this? It's watching us. And the interesting thing was, it moved 3 times and it was always a few trees ahead of us. Now, bear in mind, it's quite some distance from us, but not that far away that we could not actually see its eyes blinking. Mace didn't really get a good look at it. He didn't really see what Lou and I saw. And then Lou's like, what the actual, and I'm like, I know, what is that? And I said, whatever this is, it's tall. I said, look at the trees that it's standing behind and slinking through. Look at the height of those trees and look where the eyes are. It's big, it's tall. And you want to know something? When it moved, it glided. And there was no freaking noise. There was no sound of branches snapping underfoot. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever been camping or hiking, or you go somewhere at night time and you break a branch or you step on a branch. That sound reverberates. It echoes. There was nothing. Not a bloody thing. So I've just basically said to Mason and Lou, I said, walk. I said, go. Let's get to the car park. Go, 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 go. I'm not scared, but the hairs on the back of my neck have gone up. I like to refer to that as my shitometer. Okay, sorry, I had to say that. The hairs on the back of my neck have gone up, and my gut is telling me this is not something that everybody would experience in this park, because it's just not. So we finally get to the car park, and we're still like, what the hell have we just seen? What is going on? What is that? We're trying to run through scenarios of what it could be. None of them are making sense because of the terrain on where it was. Lou and Mace walked a bit ahead of me. I actually held back when we were heading out of the track. I was walking backwards for a while and looking up again to see where it was, just to basically watch our backs. Realm of Possibility is all of our babies, this channel. And I'm one of the original co-founders of the channel. And as you know, Bernie and I started it when it was Bump in the Night Productions. So I feel a sense of duty to my friends who are also my teammates and team members. Them being safe is number one. Anything happened to any of them, I would be gutted. So I'm hanging back just a bit. I'm walking backwards. I'm just keeping an eye out, and we finally get to the car park. Okay, we've made it to the car park. We all need to go to the loo. Toilets are locked. Awesome. Added bonus too, toilets might be locked, but there's lighting. So, yay. So we all go off and do what we have to do, improvise. When you got to go, you got to go. So Lou was the last to go. So Mace and I were just sort of standing around in the car park near the front of the toilets talking. Actually, we were just off to the side talking. The wind has picked up quite a lot. So the further in you go to the first falls, you've got the cliff faces and the ravine. So blocks a lot of that wind out. And as you're heading out, the wind is a lot more significant. So you're hearing, have you ever heard gum trees, branches rub on each other? Unmistakable noise. So you can hear all that. You can hear the branches rubbing. You can hear the tree. You can hear all the sounds of nature, right? So I'm standing there and talking with Mace, and we're still sort of, processing. And also sort of talking about earlier, like what we've experienced and how we've just experienced this and what the correlation of that could be. Funny, we're only talking about interdimensional beings earlier on in the night. Go figure. And before we went there on the day, I can't speak for Lou and Mace, but I actually put a call out to Spirit and the powers that be of our intention to go there. So whoever or whatever already knew we were coming. So anyway, waiting for Lou and talking to Mason, and the next minute I hear these 3 knocks. Only this time it's not right up in the ravine where we were. It's now to the side of us in the bush behind us. I think Mason actually heard the tail end of it, and because I stopped talking and said, what the actual, did you just freaking hear that? And I said, that sounded like tree knocks. Something knocking on the tree, like banging on the tree. And then Lou comes out after going to the bathroom, and we've just said that to her, and she's going, oh my God, something could have just come down and hoiked off with me. And I went, no, I don't think that's, no. So we stayed in the car park and hung around till midnight, as you'll see in the video, if you haven't already watched it. And then we made the decision that, maybe we should start hiking out. Whatever or whoever this is has let us know it's there. It is watching us. It is attempting to let us know that, hey, hi. So we made the decision to go. So hiking out, I have to say, I felt not scared. I was on a high alert, probably more so than what Mace and Lou realised. And it wasn't long after we started hiking out, I heard a whistle, which funny enough is another indicator, as I found out later. Now, this has happened New Year's Eve, and now we are, into January, almost mid-January. We are still buzzing from this. We are still, it's never far from my mind. So in the coming days, I'm thinking, I've got to talk to someone about this. Who do I talk to? Who do I actually talk to about this, apart from Lou and Mace who were there? But who do I actually offload and talk to about this? Because what we've just experienced is something that some people will never experience in a lifetime. So I start doing a bit of research about Yowies. And lo and behold, apparently there have been reported sightings of Yowies in Morialta Falls. And I think it's, is it 4th Creek or 6th Creek or something like that? Mount Crawford, Kaipo. So I'm thinking, I need to contact someone. I need to talk to somebody about this and get their perspective on it. So, as the old saying, who are you going to call? It wasn't Ghostbusters, I can tell you that right now. So I'm thinking, almost talking about this out loud or actually typing this in a message to someone or voicemailing them in a message, I felt like I sounded like I was a nut job. But you know what? I'm not. So I started to do a little bit of research on who do I talk to. So after about a week or so, I took the plunge and I contacted Yowie Sightings Australia. They're on Facebook. I had a look at a few places online, a few, pages online, and for some reason, Brad's page resonated with me. Some people had put up posts about their sightings. I didn't really quite feel comfortable to do that, so I messaged him privately and basically told him what I experienced and what we experienced as well. And I sent the messages to Mason Lou so they could see what he wrote. He was really, really great, and he was really, really helpful. And one thing that he said in a message that resonated, he said, once you've had an experience, your life will never be the same. He's right. It's not the same. When you've experienced something like that, and I'm a big believer in the paranormal, and I'm thinking if you can believe in the paranormal and believe that there is, that we continue to go on as an energy form after we leave this earthly vessel, and if, we can have, UFO sightings and all these other amazing mysteries of the world, then why can't we have Yowies, Bigfoot, Sasquatch? Why not? I have always believed that Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yetis, Yowies are all interdimensional beings. I believe that they come through a portal and they leave through a portal. And I think I sort of really stuck to that feeling once I watched Dave Paulides' Missing 411. If you haven't watched his movies, I would highly suggest you watch them. Some people have got their own theories and opinions about Dave Paulides. I actually like his work because he approached a topic that not many other people were willing to approach. How does someone who is maybe 20 feet ahead of somebody walk around a bend and then their friend catches up or their family member catches up and they've just disappeared? Just gone. I believe these portals are sometimes open, and I believe people have gone into them and they just haven't come back. Or they have come back and they've passed away, and then later on rescuers find the earthly vessel of these people, or they find items from these people, or are the interdimensional beings bringing these people back and placing them there. There is so much more going on in this universe and on this planet that we live in than anybody will ever know in their lifetime. I feel very humbled to have experienced what I did. I have questioned myself over and over and over since that investigation on what I saw. Was it all in my head? Was it really just no, it wasn't a koala. It wasn't a kangaroo. It wasn't a bloody emu. It was not anything that would be classed as indigenous to that area. And if speaking of indigenous culture too, if you go back and look throughout history, Native American, Indigenous, Aboriginal here in Australia, many Indigenous cultures throughout the world, you will quite often see drawings depicting Yowie, Sasquatch, Yeti, Bigfoot, they're all there. They are all there and they are all documented in their drawings. So, if any of you have ever experienced anything like this, please feel free to contact me. I never thought in a million years I would be sitting here making this video to you. When I was talking about it with Lou and Mace, I felt comfortable talking about it because they were there. They were there and they experienced different aspects of this encounter. We experienced things prior to us seeing this during the course of the night with our investigation. Anomalies in the sky, which, I'm sorry, not a plane, not a satellite, not space junk, not a helicopter, none of that crap. It was right there in front of us as Mace was talking about something that was relevant to that topic, and then when we were watching it, it just disappeared into thin air. And now that I think about it, the area as to where it was moving to and disappeared, I guess if we were going to do a trajectory of where we were in line with the track and the ravine, it all coincides, it all links up, except you don't think about it at the time. You don't realise it until I'm editing the video and I'm looking at the different aspects of this video and what we experienced, and I'm going, it's all linking up. It's all connected. Are we going to go back? You're damn right we are. Brad's given me some really useful information. He's also given me a video to check out about mind speaking, connecting with them on a telepathic level, which I'm actually going to look into. He's told me to keep him up to date if anything else transpires. I sent him photos of Murray Alta that we took, and he said, just from looking at the photos, he said, oh my God, he said, perfect environment for a sighting, perfect environment. So many places to be, for this being to be there and do what it has to do, and nobody to be any of the wiser. And then to find out of all these other places, and if you were to get a map and join the dots. So, wow. Anyway, if you have made it through this video and you would like to leave a comment, respectfully, of course, on what your thoughts are on our experience, I welcome that wholeheartedly. I thank you for watching. I thank you for listening to my story. And if you feel like you've ever had any experiences, whether it be something like a Yowie or a UFO or, contact with some other interdimensional being, feel free to comment. Or if you want to talk to me personally, let me know. Drop me a message. Happy to talk to you. It is a life-changing thing. You don't see the world around you the way you used to. I don't anymore. In that matter of a couple of weeks, my perspective has always been very broad. It has widened immensely. So, on behalf of myself, Lou, Bernie, Mason, I'd like to wish you peace, love, harmony, prosperity. Remember, tomorrow's never promised. Do the best you can. Live your best life. And we will see you out there somewhere very, very soon. Love you all. Bye.